In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on November 1st, 2024, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Ohio State versus Penn State. The marquee matchup of the college football weekend kicks off early, featuring a noon showdown between the number 4 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, boasting a 6-1 record and a 3-1 standing in the Big Ten, and the number 3 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions, who remain undefeated at 7-0 with a 4-0 Big Ten record. Last season, Ohio State edged out a 20-12 victory at home in this intense rivalry. However, the Buckeyes narrowly escaped with a 21-17 win over Nebraska recently, falling short of covering the 25.5-point spread as home favorites. In contrast, Penn State convincingly handled Wisconsin on the road with a 28-13 victory, covering the 6.5-point spread as road favorites. This clash is undeniably the most significant game on the national stage this weekend, with Penn State on the verge of potentially securing its first college football playoff berth. A win over Ohio State would not only put Penn State in prime position for a playoff bid, but would also strengthen their chances of a Big Ten title appearance. Both teams appear to be heading in different directions, particularly after Ohio State's offense displayed lackluster performance in their narrow win over Nebraska. Penn State's quarterback Drew Aller, although reportedly dealing with an injury, is expected to start, according to hints from head coach James Franklin in a Monday press conference. Aller has been outstanding in his second year as a starter, averaging 10 yards per passing attempt and leading the Nittany Lions to a top 5 ranking in passing efficiency, with Penn State placing second in passing success rate and third in expected points added per pass. Given Ohio State's recent struggles in the secondary, particularly against Oregon, Penn State's offense may have opportunities to exploit downfield for big plays. While Aller's status is still officially uncertain, should he be unavailable, backup quarterback Bo Pribula has shown his ability to lead, as demonstrated in his effective second-half performance against Wisconsin, where he completed 11 of 13 passes for 98 yards and a touchdown. Pribula's skill set adds a new dimension to the offense with his rushing ability, something offensive coordinator Andy Koltnicki previously utilized successfully at Kansas with quarterbacks like Jason Bean and Jalon Daniels. The possibility of 2 quarterback options could actually be an asset for Penn State, keeping Ohio State's defense on its toes by requiring them to prepare for both a pro-style passing attack and a run-heavy read option scheme. No matter who is under center, Penn State's ground game, led by Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, is well equipped to control the clock, given their top 20 ranking in rushing success rate and 3rd ranking in early downs expected points added according to College Football Insiders. While Ohio State has excelled in stopping the run this season, their success may be somewhat inflated by weaker competition, particularly in contrast to the success Oregon found on the ground. On defense, Penn State has emerged as one of the nation's elite units, ranking in the top 10, which could spell trouble for Ohio State's struggling offensive line. Injuries have hindered the Buckeyes' run and pass blocking ability, which will be a concern against a Nittany Lions defense that excels in creating pressure and should disrupt Ohio State quarterback Will Howard, limiting their passing game effectiveness. Although this matchup has traditionally been a challenging one for Penn State and head coach James Franklin, the Nittany Lions have a significant opportunity to capitalize on the Buckeyes' vulnerabilities and keep the game competitive. The Ohio State Buckeyes may be considered the more talented roster and enter the game as the favorites. However, Penn State is looking for a breakthrough, despite an 0-8 straight up and 2-6 against the spread record as underdogs in their last 8 games. Ohio State has not looked entirely convincing in their last couple of matchups, suffering a loss to Oregon and narrowly defeating Nebraska. In contrast, Penn State remains unbeaten this season, with a formidable top 10 defense and an offense ranked 30th in scoring. Given these strengths, the Penn State Nittany Nittany Lions to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. If Drew Aller takes the field, his performance may be affected by lingering issues from the injury sustained against Wisconsin, as suggested by his game-time decision status. Should the backup Pribula step in, Penn State's offense may find it more challenging to move the ball consistently, especially if Ohio State focuses its defense on stopping the run and forcing passing situations on third downs. Ohio State's defense ranks 4th nationally in scoring defense, making it difficult for Penn State, relying on either an injured starter or an inexperienced sophomore to generate high offensive output. While the Penn State crowd will provide energy and the Nittany Lions defense, ranked 8th in scoring, will aim to contain Ohio State's offense, this game is unlikely to be a high-scoring affair. Therefore, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Ole Miss versus Arkansas. On Saturday, two highly competitive Southeastern Conference teams will go head-to-head as the number 19 Ole Miss Rebels travel to take on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Both teams have had solid seasons, though each has faced challenges within conference play. Ole Miss, with a record of 6-2 overall and 2-2 in Southeastern Conference play, is coming off a needed win after their loss to number 13 LSU. Last week, the Rebels regained some momentum by defeating Oklahoma with a 26-14 victory. Meanwhile, Arkansas also rebounded after a tough loss to then number 8 LSU, making a strong statement last weekend with a decisive 58-25 win over Mississippi State. This matchup marks the 70th meeting between Ole Miss and Arkansas, with the Razorbacks holding a slight historical edge at 38-30-1 in the series. In their last encounter in Oxford, Ole Miss managed to pull off a close 27-20 victory, even as they were favored by 13 points. The Rebels boast a well-rounded roster with one of the most effective offenses in the nation, led by a standout quarterback. However, their offensive production has dipped slightly in Southeastern Conference play, where they've averaged only 24 points across 4 conference games. Although they managed to secure a win over Oklahoma, the performance left some room for improvement. Arkansas, on the other hand, bounced back last week with a sense of urgency, driven by a powerful running back in Green who has proven to be a consistent threat on the ground. Outside of their loss to LSU, the Razorbacks have fared well against ranked opponents this season, securing a win over number 4 Tennessee and narrowly losing to number 24 Texas Agricultural and Mechanical by 4 points. Despite being favored in every game this season, the Rebels have posted a mixed record of 5-3 against the spread, with a less impressive 1-3 against the spread record within the Southeastern Conference. Arkansas, by contrast, is 6-2 against the spread this year and has been particularly strong at home, with a 3-1 against the spread record. Historically, the Razorbacks have performed exceptionally well against Ole Miss, covering the spread in 9 of their last 10 matchups. Although Ole Miss is favored on the road, Arkansas has more at stake, particularly in securing bowl eligibility, and they may benefit from the Rebels potentially looking ahead to their matchup against Georgia next week. With the Razorbacks showing recent improvement and the advantage of playing at home, the Arkansas to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. In their last meeting, Ole Miss and Arkansas combined for a total of 47 points, falling well short of the 61.5-point over-under line. While these teams are among the top Southeastern Conference offenses in terms of total yardage and scoring potential, their matchups tend to be lower-scoring affairs. The under has hit in 3 of their last 5 meetings. Arkansas has averaged 31 points per game at home this season, though this statistic is somewhat inflated by the 70-point game they posted in their season opener. In their last 3 home Southeastern Conference matchups, their scoring has dipped significantly, averaging just 15 points per game. On the other side, Ole Miss has shown explosive offensive capabilities in non-conference games, but Southeastern Conference play has exposed some vulnerabilities, limiting them to no more than 27 points in each of their last 4 games. While Arkansas erupted offensively last weekend, it came against one of the weakest defenses in the Southeastern Conference and nationally. Prior to that game, they were held to 19 points or fewer in their previous 3 contests. Although Arkansas's games this season are an even split on the over-under at 4-4, Ole Miss has trended heavily toward the under, with a 7-1 record in games below the set point total. Ole Miss's offense has cooled considerably, managing only an average of 24 points in their last 4 outings, well below their season average. Arkansas's defense has also been relatively solid, allowing 25 points or fewer in 4 of their last 5 games. Moreover, Arkansas has struggled to produce high scores consistently in Southeastern Conference play, with an an average of only 26 points over their previous 5 games, excluding last week. Ole Miss boasts one of the Southeastern Conference's top defenses, allowing 20 points or fewer in 3 of their 4 conference games. The under has prevailed in each of Ole Miss's last 5 games, adding confidence to the trend. Given these factors, a lower scoring game appears likely, making under the projected total our full game total pick. Duke versus Miami, Florida. In a marquee Atlantic Coast Conference matchup, the 5th-ranked Miami Hurricanes are set to face off against the Duke Blue Devils at Hard Rock Stadium this Saturday. Miami has had a stellar season so far, boasting an impressive 8-0 record overall and standing second in the conference with a 4-0 record, just 1 win behind Clemson. Duke, on the other hand, has experienced a more mixed season. The Blue Devils hold a 6-2 overall record but are further down in the Atlantic Coast Conference standings at 9th place with a 2-2 conference record. The stakes are high for both teams as they look to improve their standings and make a statement in this conference showdown. A significant aspect of this game will be Miami's running game, which is a critical factor in breaking through Duke's defensive front. Miami brings a strong rushing attack, averaging 5.6 yards per carry, and this could prove decisive in controlling the pace and putting up points against Duke. Miami's offense has consistently shown it can surpass the 35-point mark, and they appear well-positioned to do so again this weekend. Although Duke has shown resilience in many of their games this season, their offense may struggle to keep up with Miami's pace. The Blue Devils have had trouble establishing their own ground game, a difficulty that will likely be compounded against Miami's formidable run defense. The Hurricanes' defense has been adept at creating disruptive plays with 10 interceptions and 26 sacks so far this season. Additionally, they have limited opposing quarterbacks to a mere 54.4% completion rate, a stat that speaks volumes about their secondary's effectiveness. Duke's turnover issues also raise questions about their ability to stay competitive against a top-tier team like Miami. Notably, in their recent game against SMU, Duke forced 6 turnovers yet still fell short, ultimately losing in overtime. While that game did go down to the wire, Miami's explosive offense and robust defense are unlikely to let the Blue Devils stay within striking distance, much less push the game to overtime. Miami is expected to come out strong from the start, aiming to set the tone early, and a fast start could quickly put Duke at a disadvantage. As a result, the Miami, Florida Hurricanes to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Looking at Miami's recent trends, they've gone 8-1 on the over in their last 10 games, a trend that dates back to the previous season. They are 6-1 on the over for the 2024 season alone. Miami has regularly surpassed 36 points per game, which suggests that taking the over might be a smart move. Atlantic Coast Conference games often lean toward high-scoring affairs rather than defensive standoffs, and Duke has managed to score 20 or more points in 3 of their last 4 games. Duke's offense is healthy, with no major injuries to key players, while Miami's secondary is dealing with some injuries that could create scoring opportunities for the Blue Devils. Miami has scored more than 35 points in every game this season, leading the nation in both yards and points per game. The Hurricanes' ability to effectively run the ball will likely expose Duke's defensive weaknesses, thereby opening up their highly efficient passing game and leading to yet another high-scoring performance. Duke, on the other hand, has quietly reached the 21-point mark in 7 of their 8 games, showing that they can find ways to score even when outmatched. Although Miami's defense is solid, they still allow an average of 21.5 points per game, and in the 3 games prior to last week's win, they gave up 30 or more points. Duke's quarterback, Malik Murphy, has demonstrated his ability to make impactful throws, and he'll likely keep his team in the game even if they fall behind. Given these factors, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.